Jon Boners Joners is a certified leech on the heavyweight division. He secured his second belt over 2 years ago against Ciryl Gane and has only defended it once against a version of Stipe Miocic that was clearly past his expiration date. Didn't want to be there. I'm usually all for legend versus legend matchups, and I was more okay with it the first time when it was booked. By the time we actually got it a full year later with Tom Aspinall defending his interim belt in the meantime, I really felt like the UFC was just kind of fucking us around. This was a waste of time. And what made it especially bad is Jon Jones was trying to manufacture his own swan song by making this his retirement fight. Thankfully, after the fact, he kind of walked that back, said he might stick around a bit, but made it clear he wants the big bucks for whatever he takes on next. Well, it's been 4 months since that defense, and we have no word. We're no closer to anything regarding him defending his belt against his bleeding interim champ. In fact, Jones has stated that he wants 6 months minimum to prepare for Aspinall. No, that's not him saying 6 months from now. He's not fighting in September. That's 6 months after they sign the fight. He wants that amount of time for a training camp, which means, let's say if the fight gets greenlit in June, we gotta wait to the end of the year, the start of next year to get this fight. Suffice to say, and I've touched on this briefly in past videos, I do not like Jon Jones, like at all. For the purpose of this video, I'm gonna elect to ignore all of the heinous shit he's done in his personal life. Dude's a scumbag outside the cage. We all know that. But today I'm purely focusing on him as a fighter. That being said, while he had a legendary reign at 205 and probably holds the mantle as GOAT, given the murderer's row of contenders he had to face, he is an actual fraud at heavyweight. This is the most bullshit ass attempt at capping off a legacy I've ever seen. First of all, again, while his championship run at light heavyweight was impressive, it kind of petered off at the end. He took a one-legged Thiago Santos to a split decision, and he outright lost to Dominic Reyes. Anyone who suggests otherwise is gargling the dum-dum juice. Reyes took the first 3 clearly, lost the last 2. Bad decision, robbery, yada yada, you all know this. Once he got past that, he decided to vacate and try to shut up a double champ status up with the big Hulks. Hulks in theory anyway, which honestly, despite said robbery, was fine. He'd done basically everything and more at 205 and had nothing left to prove. For the most part, he took out every killer that was supposed to be the one to dethrone him and usually made them look like they didn't belong in there at all. And then Ngannou became champ about a year after this up at heavyweight, so the two of them were slated for the biggest thing since Pereira versus Khabib. This was going to be huge. Only issue is we never got that fight. Jones spent 3 entire years getting ready for heavyweight on the sidelines until the moment Ngannou was out of the picture. Granted, it wasn't literally immediately, as Jones's fight with Gane was a year after Ngannou's last one on his contract, but still, it kind of gave off the same vibes as GSP waiting until Michael Bisping became champ. We all love GSP, but that, like, come on. And this felt the same. Gane is dangerous on the feet, but did anyone actually think he stood a chance with the grappling of Jon Jones? Especially after seeing Ngannou easily out-wrestle him like it was nothing? Did people think Gane could win this?
But I think that Ciryl Gane's going to beat Jon Jones and ruin his comeback parade that everyone seems to be talking about. People are talking about this matchup and they're saying Jon Jones is coming back and he's going to pick up right where he left off and take that heavyweight belt, beat Stipe, then beat a few more contenders afterwards. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know about that.
The more I am convinced that Ciryl Gane is going to be the man to put the nail in the coffin that Dominic Reyes failed to do because he left it to the judges. And although we all saw Jon Jones get his head popped around like a pinball machine in his last fight versus Reyes, I think Ciryl Gane's going to get in his face and show him what bonga means all about.
What? In saying that, that's not to discredit the win. It's a great win for Jones, as he dispatched Gane in a way we'd never seen anyone else do. He did it easily. It was just a shame we missed out on that Ngannou fight. Whether it was over money or the hate boner Dana had for Francis or whatever, it was a shame. Then they booked Jones against former champ and heavyweight GOAT Stipe Miocic for later in the year. And honestly, I think the first time they booked this, it was fine. It wasn't too long after him getting the belt. Miocic was champ before Ngannou, so it could be justified as Jones getting the next best thing. I was okay with it. Then Jones got injured, Miocic backed out, and so the UFC set up an interim bout with Aspinall and Pavlovich, where Aspinall proceeded to smash his lights out in record time, as he often does. Over the next year, barely a peep from Jon Jones. So Aspinall was forced to defend his interim belt in the summer against Curtis Blaydes, where again, smashed him to pieces. Jones actually said he picked Blaydes to win that one and would be watching very closely, but got real fucking quiet once it played out. And Aspinall tried everything to get this fight, man. He tried being kind and respectful of the legend to eventually getting a bit fed up of being Mr. Nice Guy, started being a little more forward with his calls for a unification bout. And Jon Jones has at every turn made it very clear to Tom and the fans that he wants no fucking part of that whatsoever. For that entire year, Jones carried this energy like he was too good for Aspinall. Apparently his interim champ didn't deserve to fight him and needed to go get some high profile wins. Hey buddy, he would love to get a high profile win. You are the high profile win. He beat everyone else. There's nothing else makes sense. It's you, and you're refusing to fight him. He acts like he has all of these championship defenses at heavyweight. Until last November, he literally hadn't defended his belt yet, but he was acting like Tom Aspinall was just out of the question. Like, why would I fight this guy? Why, are you crazy? Why would I fight him? That doesn't make sense. I don't need to do that. The gaslighting was mind-boggling. I've never seen more blatant ducking in my life, and if this is coming from the mouth of any fighter that isn't Jon Jones, people would unanimously shred them to pieces. Merab tried doing this for 15 seconds with Umar. It did not go well. Here's the issue, and this is what might bury this video. Jon Jones fans are kind of stupid. They just accept whatever this dude says and support it like the gospel. They parrot his claims that Aspinall is undeserving and annoying and doesn't stand a chance, so Jon doesn't even have to bother. After all, as the man claims himself, he battered back every contender that's supposed to be the one to end him before, so why should this be any different? Why does he have to entertain this one? What makes Tom Aspinall so special? I'll fucking tell you. Jon Jones had an immense size and reach advantage on most of his opponents for most of his career. Light heavyweights didn't used to be as enormous as they are now, and he capitalized on that, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But every time he fought someone his size, he struggled. He barely won that Santos fight by a piss hair, outright lost the Reyes one, and a lot of people thought he lost that first Gustafsson one. I don't know if that's the case necessarily, but it was close. Tom Aspinall is Jon Jones' size. In fact, he's a little bigger, actually. He hits like a truck and moves like a cat, ending most of his fights in the first round. He also has an extensive grappling background to have in his back pocket. This is the true heavyweight test for Jon Jones. Not a guy who can't grapple, and not an ancient graybeard either. We as fans want to see if Jones can overcome the ultimate challenge of beating this guy with the deep toolbox of MMA tricks he's accrued over the years. Will the youth and raw athleticism win, or the creativity of the old guard? It's interesting. This matchup is awesome, and I can't fathom why some people don't want to see it. And what's more is Jon Jones looked really good in the Miocic fight. Even if Miocic didn't himself, he was clearly way more comfortable with the added mass. He looked sharp, he looked fast. I want to see this fight because it's an awesome fucking fight. It's seriously a no-brainer. Jones fans, speaking to you, seriously, if you think this guy's the greatest thing since sliced bread, don't you want to see him back it up? If you think Aspinall sucks and has no chance, wouldn't you rather see Jon whoop his ass in the cage than just accepting this hypothetical situation where that happens? I can't comprehend this. Why do his fans support him ducking his interim champ and just not fighting? What's cool or inspiring about this? I don't get it. Is this what you want in your champ, guys? What's worse is Jones was actively lobbying for an Alex Pereira fight while this was happening, and sure enough, his fans were gobbling that shit up. Yes, absolutely. I'd much rather see him grapple Pereira to death and submit him in the first round than see him take on this guy. That's the real test there. I'm gonna lose my mind. Thank God we're not actually gonna get that, because Pereira just lost his belt to Ankh and is probably gonna be fighting him in a rematch. That was the silver lining of that kind of depressing outcome. Now Jones has no reason to not fight Aspinall. But like I said, he wants 6 months to prepare, and the only reason this hasn't been signed yet is probably down to the money, if I had to guess. Jones said himself he wants a bump if he's gonna do this.
Coming up with Jon Jones t-shirts, buying a little duck, and just the little shit that he does. He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me, and that's my own personal. He annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying, and I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that fuck you money, honestly. Okay, so it's hazard pay. It's fucking hazard pay. How can fans look at that and tell me he's not ducking? He knows Aspinall's dangerous and says out loud that he wants fuck you money to counteract the possibility of him getting smashed. He knows this one's different. He knows he could lose, and that's why he doesn't want it. And that's why it's a good fight. Enough hokery pokery. Pay the guy his share. Make this fight happen, because good God, I'm tired of this indefinite hold on fun at heavyweight.